should go home. It's the anniversary. Accidents don't care about anniversaries. But people do. And you're still one of them. Not tonight. Mara, you've rebuilt this crash more times than the official board did, because their report was lazy, or because you never left the room where they told you Julian died. I stopped being allowed to fall apart 3 years ago. One more step, and you lose your eyes.
I didn't come here to hurt you.
Adrian Vale. The pilot? The man who killed my fiancé.
I know what you think I did.
No. I know what you did.
Then you know the wrong story.
The dead don't get a second draft.
That's exactly why I'm here.
Get out.
Listen to the night they erased. Then throw me out.
The file is damaged, but there's still a readable audio layer. Play it.
They cut 17 seconds from the official black box.
I know. They called it storm interference.
Storms don't edit transcripts.
Terrain. Pull up. Terrain. Pull up.
Terrain. Pull up. Terrain. Pull up. Terrain. Pull up.
Manual overfire is locked. I can't take back control. Keep him on course.
Who is that?
That part was never in the official file.
Get me out before they find the body.
Mara? This timestamp is after impact.
Your fiancé spoke after he was declared dead.
The official file jumps here. Exactly 17 seconds. That doesn't prove Julian survived.
No. It proves someone needed him silent.
Don't use him to save yourself.
I lived with your hatred for 3 years. I can survive another minute.
You don't know what my hatred cost me.
I know what it looked like from the witness stand. You sat in the front row, you didn't cry. You just stared at me like I was the only thing keeping you alive.
Maybe it was. If you reopen this, they'll say you're unstable. They already said that when I didn't cry enough at the hearing. This isn't just professional risk, it's personal. Personal wounds still leave evidence. That change isn't in the digital file, because paper forgets slower than servers. His boarding stamp was 42 minutes earlier than everyone else's. Julian boarded early. Or someone wanted us to believe he did. Julian was listed in 2A.
He boarded in 2A.
That's not the same sentence.
30 minutes before takeoff, he left the plane.
Impossible. His remains were identified.
By whom? The cockpit door camera caught him stepping off. The footage disappeared before the first hearing.
Why didn't you tell the board?
I did. They muted my microphone and called it trauma confusion.
You're not authorized to be here anymore. I wrote half the access protocols. That makes this worse, not better. This piece was altered after recovery. Can you prove that? The metal edge oxidized twice, once in the crash, once under a shop torch. So someone rebuilt the wreckage. No, someone rebuilt the story.
Mara Ellison. Still picking through graves?
Only when someone buries evidence in them.
Your assistant has poor taste in felonies.
I prefer misdemeanors, but she's persuasive.
This case is closed.
Closed cases don't need guards.
Grief made people kind to you once. Don't mistake that for immunity.
Threats sound cleaner when they come with a badge.
Careful.
I was careful for 3 years. Look where it got me. That serial number was marked destroyed 3 years ago. Destroyed evidence doesn't sit in a warehouse. The disposal order was signed before the final report was published. By Graham? No. By Julian Cross. Julian had no authority over aviation evidence. You followed us.
I followed Graham. He followed you.
Julian signed the disposal order.
Then he knew before we took off.
Knew what?
That plane wasn't supposed to land.
You missed the memorial dinner. I was working. On him? Adrian Vale killed Julia. What if he didn't? Don't do that. There are missing seconds, altered evidence, Julian's signature where it shouldn't be.
Or there is a murderer who knows exactly how to break you.
Mom, I heard his voice.
I hear his voice every day. That doesn't make him alive.
His voice is on the recording after the crash.
Voices can be faked.
So can reports. So can remains.
He was my son in every way that mattered.
Then help me find out whether we buried him.
If you stand beside Adrian Votes, you are not standing with this family.
Then I'll stand where the evidence stands. Were you followed?
Worse, I was invited.
By whom?
The man who paid to bury the crash is throwing a memorial gala.
You brought him here?
No apology I give you will be enough.
Then don't speak.
If you walk into that gala with him, don't come back to me. Then I'll come back with the truth. Victor Sloan owns half the city and frightens the other half. He financed the aviation safety gala 3 years ago. The one before the crash? Yes. Julian gave the keynote speech. Adrian flew the guest charter. Every person who mattered was in that building. That's not a gala. That's a guest list for murder. Find everyone who attended but didn't board. Victor Sloan. Graham Pike. Julian Cross. Three men attended the gala and didn't board.
Sloan, Graham, Julian.
You don't look surprised.
I've been trying not to be surprised for 3 years.
Tell me what happened before takeoff. All of it.
Julian came to the hangar angry. Not scared, angry.
At whom?
A woman. I never saw her face. She had a red scarf and a voice like she was used to being obeyed.
What did she say?
She said Sloan won't clean up your mess twice.
Julian had a mess.
Big enough to burn a plane.
Mrs. Ellison, are you working with the man who killed your fiancé?
Are you two sleeping together?
Move.
Is this grief or romance?
I aim your cameras at me, not her.
So you're protecting her now?
No, I'm protecting your careers from a lawsuit.
They're making it look intimate because truth is slower than scandal. Your license review board just emailed. They can't suspend you over a photograph. They can suspend me over appearance of bias. You're not officially on the case. That makes it worse, because now it looks personal. It is personal, that's the problem. You're becoming a habit I don't want.
I found the woman from the hangar.
Name?
Elena Voss, former accountant for Sloan Global.
Alive?
Not anymore. Her name appears twice, once as a passenger, once as cargo weight.
That means her body was already loaded before boarding.
That's what I told the board.
And they erased it.
They erased everything that made me less useful as a...
You knew there was a dead woman on board and said nothing to me.
I didn't know how to tell a grieving woman her fiancé might have staged a corpse.
You don't get to decide which truth I can survive.
I know.
Why?
If they wanted to follow us, they wouldn't park in the light.
Adrian!
Mrs. Ellison, Mr. Sloan would like a word.
Don't grab me.
Then move before they shoot you politely. Mrs. Ellison, we only need the drive.
Tell Sloan he can file a subpoena.
He buys subpoenas in bulk.
Drive!
Get in.
That was the plan.
Are you armed?
I'm a pilot. I prefer not crashing.
Bad news. I'm an investigator. I prefer evidence.
Evidence is trying to run us off the road. You drive like you're angry.
I am angry.
At me?
At how often you're right. Don't smile.
I forgot I could.
They tried to kill us.
No, they tried to scare you. If they wanted us dead, we'd be quiet already.
You're bleeding.
It's not new.
Sit down.
You giving orders now?
I'm deciding which evidence not to lose. Don't mistake survival for intimacy.
I'm trying not to.
They took Tessa because of me.
They took her because she found something.
That is not comfort.
I'm not good at comfort. We give them a copy, not the drive.
They'll know.
Then we give them a copy that screams.
Tracker?
And a data worm. Tessa can build one in her sleep.
She has to be alive for that. Don't give them the original. You're bleeding. I'm also annoyed. That's worse.
The drive. Neither are you. If this goes live, everyone sees Sloan kidnapping an aviation investigator.
They made me open your private archive. What did they take? Not take. Upload.
Let her grieve. Grief makes people obedient.
Mara, that's Julian.
Let her grieve. Grief makes people obedient.
It matches Julian. Can be fake. Drudge was say crashing.
So can death certificates.
Don't.
You heard him.
I buried him.
Maybe you buried what he wanted you to bury.
Find the burial record. All of it. You look like you haven't slept. Did you ever see his body?
What kind of question is that?
Answer me.
Closed casket. They said the fire made it necessary.
Who said?
Victor Sloan's people handled everything.
Mom, I need to exhume the coffin.
You will not dig him up for that man.
I'm not doing it for Adrian.
Then who?
For the woman who has been mourning a locked box. Were you watching me?
I was making sure you weren't alone.
That sounds like watching.
Then I watched politely.
I need a court order to absolve Julian.
Your mother will hate me more.
She'll hate me first.
I'm sorry.
For what?
For becoming the person standing beside you when everyone else walks away.
You don't have legal standing.
I was his fiancé.
Not wife, not family, not enough.
There are irregularities in the death confirmation.
There are irregularities in every rich man's paperwork.
There may be no body in that coffin.
Then bring me a judge who wants to lose his career.
That proves I have standing. This is illegal.
So is framing me for murder.
I hate that you have a point.
You say that a lot.
Don't enjoy it.
You don't have to pretend this is easy.
And you don't have to pretend you know me.
I know what it looks like when someone is using anger to stand upright.
Graham signed the death confirmation.
Accident for investigator signed a body record?
He had no authority.
Mara.
Spouse?
According to this, you married Julian before he died.
I never married him.
You always were too curious, Mara. You always were too curious, Mara.
And you always arrive too soon for an innocent man.
Those files are sealed.
Then why are you afraid I open them?
Because grief makes people stupid.
Careful.
Still playing hero, Captain? It didn't work last time.
Sign Julian's death confirmation. You had no authority.
A lot of things happened fast that night.
Bodies don't become paperwork because you're in a hurry.
You set off a fire alarm in a courthouse.
I've had worse legal afternoons.
That is not reassuring. Don't make this look like what they're accusing us of.
I'm trying very hard not to want that.
You two look like a federal crime with cheekbones. Focus. This says you were legally married to Julian. We never married. We never even set a date.
Someone needed you to be his widow.
Why? Because spouses can access protected legal deposits after death. Julian hid something under my name. And someone accessed it last week. Who? I never went there.
Mrs. Cross, we've been expecting you.
Do not call me that.
The account is registered under Julian Cross and his spouse.
You don't have to open it.
I was made his widow without consent. I'm not asking for permission now.
Follow me. Mr. Cross left strict instructions.
Of course he did. Dead men are very organized. No. It sounds like Julian. This ring was made after he died.
And someone knew he would need a widow after the crash.
Adrian Vale, are you stealing evidence with Mara Ellison? Did you secretly marry Julian Cross before his death?
No comment.
Adrian Vale, you are wanted for evidence tampering and obstruction.
Run with the box.
I'm not leaving you. No. I owe myself the... If this explodes, I'm blaming you.
Fair.
This isn't mine.
Elena Voss.
She was pregnant.
And someone put her body on my plane.
No.
Sorry.
Say it.
Julian may have been the father.
He wanted children with me.
Maybe he wanted lies with everyone.
Don't make him ugly because it helps your innocence.
I don't need him ugly. I need him true. Step away from the box.
This evidence belongs to me.
That evidence belongs to an active criminal investigation. Still protecting women you can't save, Captain?
What did you just say?
Ask him who he pulled from the wreckage first. You've been busy.
So have you, covering old sins with new paperwork.
Look carefully.
Elena.
The pregnant accountant.
He saved her.
First. While he carried her out, Julian burned.
You don't get to use my dead fiancé as punctuation.
Then ask your pilot where Julian was.
Who did you save first?
Elena.
You should have told me.
Yes. Because she was alive.
And Julian?
Julian was already outside the wreckage.
Say that again.
I didn't leave him to die. He walked away.
You saw him?
Through the smoke. He was with Graham.
Why didn't you say his name?
Because when I woke up in the hospital, they told me you had identified his remains.
I never saw the body.
Then they lied to both of us.
Adrian's statement fits the heat pattern. Julian walked away. There were 2 sets of footprints leading from the crash zone. Why didn't anyone report that? Someone did. Then the page disappeared. Graham didn't erase a mistake. He erased a witness. Zoom in on the hand. It's too blurry. Do it. He watched them burn. Mara. He watched me bury him. We still don't know why. Elena knew. Her child knew. So they both had to disappear. You knew he was alive.
I suspected. I didn't know.
That's not enough.
I know.
Did you keep quiet to protect me or to keep me close?
Both.
Don't ever make my pain a decision you get to manage.
I'm sorry.
I don't need sorry. I need every ugly truth you still have.
Then start with this. Julian left it in my hand before he disappeared.
That's not a pilot badge number. It looks like coordinates.
He pressed it into my palm while I was half conscious.
What did he say?
He said if she comes looking, make her hate you first.
Why would he say that?
Because he knew hate was safer than curiosity.
The coordinates point to an abandoned medical storage site in New Park. Why would Julian hide something here?
Maybe he didn't hide it. Maybe he wanted us to find what someone else hid.
Elena was pregnant.
And Slalin owned the research fund.
The father's profile was tested.
Name?
Cross.
Julian.
There's another sample.
Where?
Hello, Mara. If you're seeing this, you chose the pilot over the grave.
Julian?
It could be pre-recorded.
Mara, you always needed proof before mercy. That's why I loved you. That's why I used you. Elena was never supposed to die on that plane. Neither was the child. Adrian made a mess by saving the wrong person.
He's blaming me for saving a pregnant woman.
Keep playing.
Slane wanted the accounts buried. Graham wanted promotion. Elena wanted immunity. Everyone wanted something.
And you?
I wanted a clean life after a dirty fortune. You were the clean part, Mara. The widow, the grief, the perfect shield.
Mara, don't let him do this to you.
He already did.
If you want the second sample, wear the ring I left you. Doors open for widows.
You don't have to put that on.
I know.
Then don't.
I wore his grief for 3 years. I can wear his lie for one night.
How many?
Too many for a polite conversation.
You always joke when we're in danger?
No, sometimes I bleed.
Find the woman. Sloan wants her alive. And Vale? Dead is cleaner.
I'm not dying before I annoy you at least 10 more times.
You heard them. They want you dead.
They've been consistent about that.
Stop acting like your life is disposable.
For 3 years, everyone agreed I should have died on that plane. After a while, you start believing.
I don't.
Check the ambulance.
This is a terrible plan.
It's not a plan, it's momentum.
Get in before rich people make me an accessory again.
Please tell me that is evidence, not a life choice.
Tonight, it's both.
Tell Julian she put on the ring.
The archive room is inside the gala venue behind biometric access and private security.
Widow access gets her through the first door.
And after that? After that, I improvise. That is how people get killed in documentaries.
He's using the ring to control where you go.
Then I'll use it to walk into his trap with a recorder.
You're making it hard to argue.
Good. Save your energy for staying alive.
Is that Mara Ellison with Adrian Vale?
At a crash memorial?
We can leave.
I've already lost the room. Might as well rob it.
Mrs. Cross.
That title is stolen property.
Most powerful things are. Come with me.
Mara,
Stay visible.
that sounds like goodbye.
It's an instruction.
How tender. The widow and the accused. No wonder the city can't look away.
The city loves a dirty story. I prefer clean evidence.
Julian always knew you'd be brave enough to come.
And coward enough to hide?
Hello, my wife.
Don't call me that.
Legally, it is accurate.
You forged my marriage.
I protected my assets.
Was I one of them?
You were the best one.
Elena Voss. Was her child yours?
Does it matter now?
It mattered when you put her body on that plane.
Move. Private area. She is in danger. From what? A dead man with a live feed.
I found the room camera. Mara's with Victor.
What?
Julian is on screen.
Open the door.
Working on it.
You should have stayed angry at Adrian. Anger suited you.
No. It kept me useful to you.
He didn't save me, he saved Elena.
Because you walked away.
Because I had a future to protect.
You had a child to protect.
A child would have destroyed everything.
Thank you.
For what?
For saying it clearly.
She's recording.
Doors open for widows. Microphones open for liars.
Mara, if you release that, your mother dies first. Or I dare.
If you touch my mother, I will stop trying to prove you're alive. I'll prove you're a monster.
Careful, Mara. Monsters survive because good women keep negotiating with them.
Give me the ring.
You built a memorial gala for people you murdered. Don't act offended by bad manners.
Mara, you always were beautiful when cornered.
And you were always ugliest when you thought that was love.
Mara, move.
I had that handled.
It didn't look handled.
It looked dramatic. There's a difference.
Still breaking doors for women who won't choose you?
She already chose the truth. That scares you more.
Seal the exits.
Tessa, security is closing the west exit. Take the service corridor.
Where is my mother?
I'm tracking her phone. Wait. It just moved.
Moved where?
Your apartment building. Someone is already
Call her.
there. Mara?
Mom, don't open the door.
Don't open the door unless you know who it is.
What are you talking about? Mom, stop!
Hello, Helen.
Julian.
I'm sorry it took me so long to come back.
We buried you.
They made you bury a lie.
Mara said things. Terrible things. I thought she was losing her mind.
She is being manipulated by Adrian Vale.
That man destroyed her.
And now he is taking what's left.
Building cameras are freezing one by one. Someone's killing the feed.
Get me the lobby camera.
Working.
Breathe.
Don't tell me to breathe.
Then don't pass out. I'm flexible.
He went to her because of me.
He went because he is losing control.
That doesn't make her safer.
No. But it means he needs her alive.
Mom!
Mara.
No. He made her write this.
Then let's ask the door.
She chose the ghost.
Bring Adrian to the old hangar, or Helen learns how the crash really sounded.
No visible weapon, no forced movement. He didn't need a weapon. He used grief. What is the old hangar?
Where Crossair 17 was serviced before takeoff.
That sounds like a very obvious trap.
It is.
Then we go prepared.
No, I go.
Did you learn nothing from my speech about men managing my pain?
You don't have to do that.
You keep bleeding on my investigations.
Mara.
Don't.
I haven't said anything.
You look like you were about to.
At the hearing, when you looked at me like you hated me, I thought it was the last honest thing in the room. Now you look at me like I might be human. That scares me more.
Don't make me feel guilty for not hating you enough.
I'm trying not to make you feel anything.
Found something. This was pulled from a deleted hospital backup.
If he wakes, make him sign the confession.
If he dies, use the one we prepared.
Confession?
They tried to make me sign it while I was sedated.
There is a signed confession in the sealed case file. But you never signed.
No.
Then someone forged your name. That isn't Adrian's handwriting.
Whose is it?
Mine. Someone used your handwriting to forge Adrian's confession.
That's why the board believed it.
Because it looked like the woman who hated you had helped confirm it. This is elegant in a deeply psychotic way. Julian practiced my handwriting.
For how long?
Long enough that love looked like paperwork.
Ms. Ellison, did you have unauthorized contact with Adrian Vale?
Yes. Did you conceal evidence from law enforcement? No. I withheld corrupted channels from corrupt...
This is not a place for Roderick.
Good. Then let's use evidence. My name was used to bury a living man and condemn an innocent one. You are emotionally compromised. I was emotionally weaponized. There is a difference.
Mrs. Ellison, did you forge Adrian Vale's confession?
Is this why you're protecting him?
You shouldn't be here.
I'm getting good at being where I shouldn't.
Are you two lovers?
Be careful.
Still not dead.
Stop joking.
Then give me a reason not to.
The bullet passed through. He'll live if he stops moving like an idiot.
That sounds medical.
That sounds accurate. I found help. Sloden Rehabilitation Center. Private wing.
We go tonight.
You were shot 10 minutes ago.
I noticed.
Good. Then bleed quietly. If we get caught, I'm blaming your grief and my poor boundaries. Fair. Mom.
you would come angry.
Who? Julian?
He told me you're confused. That Adrian poisoned you against him.
Mom, look at me. I'm your daughter, not his evidence.
You'd know how to make an entrance.
Julian? Stop using her.
She wanted a son back. I gave her one.
You gave her another lie.
And what are you giving her? The truth that her daughter is falling in love with the man blamed for falling in love.
Is that true?
Run, Mara. Let's see who you save first. Yesterday first.
Stairs are locked. Elevators are controlled. Then we make a door. Mara, what if he's telling the truth about Adrian?
Then I'll face that truth too. But not inside his cage. I don't know what to believe. Believe that I came for you.
You were supposed to stay put.
I put myself in the driver's seat.
I hate that I laughed.
You are the man I hated for 3 years.
I know.
And now you're bleeding in my daughter's car.
I can bleed somewhere else if that helps.
No one is bleeding anywhere else.
I grabbed this from the nurse station. Second sample. Elena's fetal DNA sample was moved from the medical storage site to Sloan Rehab. Fetal? Elena Voss was pregnant. Julian may have been the father. No. He loved you. Maybe he loved the version of me that made a better cover. The second sample is no longer at the clinic. Where is it? Listed as transferred to Julian Cross yesterday.
If Keep why would he? The child was his. Why would he think answer is in an odron tweet in the sample?
Because proof is leverage.
Against whom? If the child was his, why would he keep the sample?
Because proof is leverage.
Against whom?
You know, most terrible men just leave bad memories. Julian left hardware.
He never trusted feelings when a mechanism would do.
That's not decorative. It's a key. We have 10 minutes before it wipes. Can you stop it?
I can insult it very effectively.
Tessa. Working.
This is bigger than Sloan.
How big? Big enough to make a plane disappear and a man come back from the dead.
Crossair maintenance was paid the day before the crash.
For what? They bought the plane.
No, they bought the sky.
You found my ledger. Good. Now trade. Adrian is not a beam he burns.
Adrian is standing right here.
For now.
What did he send you?
Nothing useful.
Adrian.
He still thinks sacrifice is a personality. Fraud survived. Heroism crashed.
What do you want?
The ledger, the ring, and Adrian alone. You came alone. How predictably noble.
Where is she?
Mara, safe, unless you keep confusing yourself with a savior.
You threatened her with fire.
Fire makes people honest. It made you famous. Get in, Captain. Let's see if you can save them this time.
Adrian's inside. The hangar is sealed. Open it. I'm trying, but Julian locked the system with the same navigation override used in the crash. He's recreating the crash. There's more. If we force the hangar door, the hard drive wipes. Mara. Back it up. I'm choosing the living.
Terrain, pull up! Terrain, pull up!
Do you remember the sound they made?
I remember their names.
Names didn't save them.
Neither did you.
You saved Elena first. Mara will never forgive that.
She already knows.
Knowing and forgiving are different graves.
Adrian!
Stay back!
You are terrible at giving instructions.
The smoke is toxic.
Then stop breathing dramatically and move! You don't get to die in the same nightmare twice.
I heard your voice.
Good. Follow it next time. I got most of the ledger, not all, but enough to make powerful men sweat through expensive shirts.
You should have saved the evidence.
I did. You're the witness Julian couldn't erase.
Mara, if you ask me to stop wanting you, I'll try.
I'm tired of asking men to lie for me. Mara! The video went out from a Sloan media shell. Of course it did. Is it true? Yes. That doesn't make this clean. No, it makes it honest.
Mrs. Ellison, I never meant to take anything from her.
You already did. You made her face the truth before she was ready.
Ms. Ellison, given your personal involvement with Adrian Vale, why should this committee trust any evidence you present?
Because evidence does not become false because the person holding it is hated.
You were seen kissing the accused.
And you were seen signing a death confirmation you had no authority to sign. Which scandal shall we start with?
If you release that, your mother dies first.
Whose voice is that?
Julian Cross.
This is a fabricated recording from a compromised witness.
Then you won't mind a live comparison. Julian Cross did not die on Crossair 17. He used a forged marriage, a staged death, and a corrupt report to frame Adrian Vale.
Mara's right about one thing. I'm alive.
But she left out the part where she helped me disappear.
Mara's right about one thing.
I'm alive. Stay behind me.
No. I'm done hiding behind men with secrets.
Brave. Reckless. Exactly why I loved you.
You don't love people. You assign them roles.
Then let me explain her role. "3 years ago, Mara helped conceal my survival."
That signature is forged.
Is it? You were grieving. Exhausted, medicated, you signed many things.
You drugged the room and called it paperwork.
The committee should consider Miss Ellison's credibility compromised.
You signed a death record for a man standing 10 feet from you. Sit down.
Ms. Ellison, did you sign this document?
No. But I know who learned to write like me.
That video is edited.
I don't remember signing that.
Grief is merciful that way.
No. Men like you just call missing memory mercy.
Mara Ellison, Adrian Vale, you need to come with us.
What was I to you?
My best alibi. You didn't sign it knowingly.
That won't matter if the video holds.
It won't hold. Tessa will find the cut.
I built my life on evidence. Now every piece of evidence has my face on it.
Then we prove your face was used like mine was.
You make it sound survivable.
No, just worth surviving.
The video is real, but the audio layer is stitched.
So she did sign something?
Yes, but maybe not that.
I told her she was losing her mind.
Mrs. Ellison, did anyone give Mara medication after the hearing?
A nurse.
Julian's people said she was having a panic attack.
You remember the nurse's name? She wore a Sloan Foundation badge. You shouldn't be allowed in here.
I'm a living victim. Doors open.
You forged my marriage. You forged my grief. What else did you forge?
Your innocence, maybe? The world will believe you helped me disappear because part of you wanted to.
I wanted you alive because I loved you.
Exactly. Love is the easiest signature to forge. You were never my widow, Mara. You were my alibi.
I remembered the nurse. She told me you needed rest. I let her give you the pills. Mom, that wasn't your fault. I helped him quiet you. No, he used you because you loved me.
The nurse entered under Sloan archive clearance.
Sloan archive.
The original hospital video, the nurse logs, and Julian's forged jerking location should all be stored here.
Sloan Tower has private security, biometric locks, and 3 panic rooms.
So, you don't have to be part of this.
Julian gave me this 3 years ago. He said if anything happened to him, I should keep it safe.
That gets us inside.
Then I'm part of this.
Remember, you are here for a private donor audit.
He gave me a key to his own grave.
This building doesn't have a basement that deep.
It does for people who need to bury things.
This place feels like a hospital and a tomb.
That sounds like Sloan branding.
He built the lock around both of us.
Then he never thought you'd stand together.
He didn't need me to agree. He needed my hand to move.
There it is.
We have enough to clear us.
Mara.
She survived.
I pulled her out alive.
If I die, Julian Cross did this. The accounts are real. The child is his. He promised Sloaney the plane would erase us all. Tell the pilot he saved the wrong woman only because the right man walked away.
He didn't fail them.
He's burning the archive.
Stay low. Cover your mouth. I can walk. I know. Let me help anyway. Adrian!
Almost there.
You always say that before something terrible.
Then I'm consistent.
I got your signal. Where are you? Underground, fire system triggered. We have the evidence. Upload it now.
Mara, run!
I am running!
Faster would be a strong artistic choice.
Please tell me we committed enough crimes to be worth it. Elena's confession, original hospital footage, forged documents.
Uploading to every journalist I don't hate.
No. No, no, no! What happened? Someone triggered a dead man switch.
I helped Julian disappear. Adrian was never innocent.
That is not your voice.
It is her voice. It's just not her sentence.
He's trying to make every truth look edited.
Then we stop sending clips. What do we send? The whole night, beginning to end, live. Once this starts, we can't pull it back. Good. That's the point.
Come for you.
They already did.
Mara. Last night when you saved from the simulator, I wanted to kiss you before you did.
That is terrible timing.
I know. I'm getting it out before the world ends.
Then help me end the right world. My name is Mara Ellison. For 3 years, my grief was used as evidence. Today, I am taking it back.
Julian Cross did this. The child is his.
This is not a love story. This is a crime scene.
Then come to the place where it started. Bring the original ledger, or I tell the world what Adrian really did after the crash.
What is he talking about? What did you do after the crash?
I killed a man.
Who?
One of Sloanie's men. He was dragging Elena back toward the fire.
You saved her.
I broke his neck. They buried that too. Not because it hurt me, because it proved someone else was on the ground before rescue arrived.
Then we include it. Truth doesn't have to be pretty to be true.
You came together. Predictable.
You invited both of us by threatening one of us. That's not prophecy, Julian, it's logistics.
Did you tell her about the man you killed? Yes.
He told me before you could sell it.
Enough. Give me the ledger.
Why? So you can bury another plane?
Your widow is becoming inconvenient.
She was always inconvenient. I mistook it for charm.
Mom!
The ledger, now.
You said you loved her like a mother.
I loved what she believed. That is different.
You let me warn you.
You were very good at it.
Let her go.
Still choosing who to save first. Choose wrong, and your mother pays for Adrian's redemption.
You don't want the ledger. You want witnesses.
I want endings I can control.
You never controlled me. You only delayed me.
Take the drive. Kill the pilot. We're done.
You still think you're in charge?
Run to Tess's car. Mara, go!
You always bleed so dramatically.
You always talk too much.
Mara! Mara!
You can't fly this alone.
I don't need to fly it far. A tragic crash with the grieving widow on board. Poetic, isn't it?
You confuse poetry with cowardness.
Then let's give them an ending.
Get in! Can you stop it?
Not from the ground.
That is a terrible answer.
But I can talk her through shutting it down.
Mara isn't a pilot.
No. She's better under pressure than any pilot I know. Tell them you helped me. Tell them Adrian killed to protect his lie.
You still need me to sign your ending.
Mara!
I'm in the cockpit.
Good. Sit in the left seat.
This is not a chair problem, Adrian.
It is now.
Throttle levers. Center console. Pull them back slowly.
Open the door!
Busy not dying.
Brake pedals. Feet down. Steady pressure. Stay with my voice. You got me through mine. Let me help you stop yours.
Nobody leaves me first.
That's all this ever was. Not love, not survival, just abandonment dressed as genius.
You were mine.
No. I was evidence you misplaced.
Julian, look at me.
Helen, tell them I was your son.
No. You were the shape my grief chose. My daughter is alive. That is where my love belongs.
Are you okay?
I hate that sentence.
I'll retire it.
Adrian Vale is formally cleared of the Crossair 17 crash. Mara Ellison's license suspension is lifted pending final review with acknowledgement that her identity and grief were criminally exploited.
That is the driest way anyone has ever said, sorry, we ruined your life. You brought the truth back. It's not just me, it's us. Do you miss it?
Every day.
Will you fly again? Then for what?
Because the sky was mine before they used it to frame me. Are we still forbidden?
No, just dangerous.